Hey everyone, it's been over 2 minutes and I haven't been raped yet. But I'm starting to think about bailing out of Canada. Hi, I'm Diana Davison, and I'm only sort of joking about wanting to flee Canada. There's a bill that's going to be passed which basically undermines all of your civil rights to a fair trial, and I have been waiting since this proposed bill to see what the legal system is going to do to stop it. I have been waiting in frustration. Nobody's saying anything. Oh wait. One defense lawyer in Ontario, Joe Neuberger, he's finally come out and said this is catastrophic.
Well, if the proposed legislation is passed in accordance with what I've read so far, it would be a catastrophic shift of fairness in a trial that would probably prevent persons accused of sexual assault from ever having a fair trial.
So he's talking about a recently proposed bill which would, in sexual assault trials, pretty much bar all evidence of innocence from the courtroom. But why is it in this brave new world that someone like Joseph Neuberger is a hero simply for stating the obvious? But Joseph Neuberger is a hero because, well, all rights to a fair trial in a sexual assault allegation are about to go out the window. The rest of the defense lawyers are doing this. Now let's back up and explain this a bit. So your rights to a fair trial, right, to full answer in defense, the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, the burden of proof being on the Crown or the state if you're in the U.S., all of that is pretty much going away because of the Victims' Rights Bill. Now, here's what Neuberger has to say about the use of the word victim when talking about sexual assault allegations.
Well, first of all, we're using the term victim, so that presumes guilt.
Okay, I say that accuser.
No, but you're right. That's what they're saying. Frankly, in my opinion, by using that term, these advocacy groups are saying that any complainant is telling the truth, and men are presumptively guilty. That's really what this comes down to.
Yeah, essentially, in Canada, sexual assault allegations are going to be just show trials in Canada if this bill passes.
What the Crown wants to do now is to expand, allegedly, the Rape Shield provision to say that any text messages, emails, video recordings, or communications of sexual contact or for a sexual purpose, either prior to or after the alleged offense, has to be subject to an analysis by a judge to see if it would be admissible.
Oh my God, indeed. Now this lawyer, he's seen a lot of shit. And even he is saying, oh my God.
My God.
Now, you have to understand that victims advocates are right. Sexual assault trials are very different. In a murder trial, you have a dead body. In a situation of theft, you have a missing TV. In an allegation of rape, what you often have is a bunch of raunchy, sexualized emails and text messages after the fact. And what they have to address here is the problem that judges are misapprehending this evidence, thinking that these messages are signs of consent. So the only solution is to remove all of the evidence because it's too confusing for judges. And the reason why we have this problem is because, according to feminists and sexual assault activists, well, the fact-finding mission of the court is a tool of the patriarchy. So you have to remember, they're postmodernist. To a postmodernist, there are no facts. There is no reality. Everything is subjective. And you can clearly see this with consent, right? So consent in a sexual relationship is in the mind of the woman and solely in the mind of the woman. Nothing else matters. Her actions, her words, her text messages, all of that should be barred from court because they're deceiving in making people think that there was a reality outside of the woman's mind. So that's why the court system can't deal with sexual assault in a way that's going to satisfy the postmodernist activists.
Because therefore, these communications afterward have no value because a complainant can act in any number of ways that may be inconsistent with her proposed lack of consent, but it should not be admissible because whatever she says, or he says, frankly, in a sexual assault case, ought to be accepted that it was without consent. That's what they're saying. Any type of communication afterward that may shed light on whether there was consent or not should be barred, because complainants should be presumptively believed that their allegations are true. That is exactly what these groups are saying. They are calling them victims and survivors.
So why is Joe Neuberger the only lawyer who's speaking out? Where's Marie Henein, Canada's most famous defense lawyer? A lot of people say that it was the Giangameshi trial that set off this proposal of all these changes to the law. But when asked for comment, nope. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Where's the Canadian Judicial Council, who actually told Parliament that their last bill about judges and re-educating them in feminist law was probably unconstitutional, and yet that bill, as a result, flew through Parliament faster than anything else this year.
Oh, but it looks like you're a law. Oh, yeah!
What do we do when Parliament is just fast-tracking unconstitutional bills? Right? You would think that they'd get challenged before an innocent man has to go to jail. But no, it appears that everybody just figures, well, let's wait until we have quite a few wrongfully convicted guys, and then we'll deal with it in the appeal process. Send it to the Supreme Court after these guys are in jail, instead of trying to prevent wrongful convictions in the first place.
This is extremely significant. We do not see this vetting of questions in any other criminal proceeding for any other offense under the criminal code. It is a dramatic and catastrophic change in the rules of evidence.
So I can't leave Canada because it's going to turn into a cesspit. Nobody's doing anything. There's too much apathy. Part of that is because people do believe the advocates. They do believe that every man charged with sexual assault is automatically must be guilty. So they're not too concerned about his fair trial. They just figure where there's smoke, there's fire, and, he must have done something. They're not too worried about it because the public doesn't understand why the legal system is built the way it is. So I'm going to have to stay here and educate everybody, and I'm probably going to have to be the one to constitutionally challenge this bill if it passes. Because outside of Joe Neuberger, as cool as he is, everybody else is staying silent. I'm not going to stay silent and watch innocent men go to jail. Support the Lighthouse Project. Help me help you.
The defense now has to disclose essentially their case. Mm-hmm. We don't have that in any other charge. It's not there for murder. It's not there for assault. It's not there for robbery. It's not there for financial transaction crimes. It's only for this type of case. It is a dramatic shift, which I think is incredibly damaging, and we have to be concerned about wrongful convictions coming from this.